How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Is It a Buy, where we talk about stocks and try to determine if they are worth a buy or maybe a pass. My name is Corey. I'd just like to preface the video by saying I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy who likes to talk about stocks, so please take what I say with a grain of salt. How's it going, guys? David, you are 100% in 30 seconds. I will be 5 minutes behind on the chat, 100%, no doubt about it. But for now, I did read your comment first, so take that for what that is. Let's side of the chat. We'll look at good old AMC, the favorite, and we'll keep it moving. All right, David, yo. Lee, yo. Dog, a little bit of green with envy today. Absolutely. Damon says, if AMC goes high enough, I can assure myself I'm gonna rack up college debt. Yeah, I mean, it's a cool thing. I mean, I was fortunate enough to have scholarships. I had basically a full ride through college. And I'm fortunate enough to not have, student debt or anything like that, loans. Yeah, I mean, most people aren't as lucky, right? Most people have to take out a lot of loans and they pay it back years and years and years later, decades later, still paying it back. It just seems to never really end. But yeah. So hopefully that's a reality for you, right? Diamond says I was first, but I had trouble loading. Unfortunate. Yas, what is up? Moon Wen, coming soon, I'm sure. Not financial advice, my personal opinions. Starfish says, hey, what's up, Andrew? Starfish says, Webull delayed my direct deposit today until after the market close. That's never, oh, that sucks. The only thing about Webull is sometimes I think like whenever you deposit money, it's not instant. Like you can't use it instantly. The one thing, again, you guys know how I loved Robinhood. Man, they really let me down. But with Robinhood, I was able to, you could just deposit money and sure, yeah, we'll just let you trade with it. We'll let you use it. It was such a great concept, but at what cost? At what freaking cost? Ryan, at least, oh, it didn't rocket, still in reach. At least two didn't rocket, still in reach. Okay, fair enough. Matt, what is up? What's up, Corey? I'm watching. Great day in Ape Nation. Let's continue unto tomorrow. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and catch up. Hey, what's up, Eric? Corey, how you doing? Feels good to be in AMC today. It does feel good to be in AMC today. Feels good to be in AMC every single day. And look at this. AMC was ended at 58.11 in the regular market hours. That's an increase of 7.49% on the day, which is insane. In the after hours, it is down just a tad. It's at 57.90, currently down 0.36% in the after hours. So not too big a deal. Still a wonderful day. Looks like it did go up. It did reject at 59.36. Again, trying to hit that $60 mark. If we zoom out here a little bit, we can look at the 1 month and just zoom out a little bit. We can see we are respecting this ascending level of support, right? This ascending level of support is looking really, really solid. We were all the way down here, the level of support starting around $36 and just kind of respecting all the way up. We have levels around, 42, 53. I mean, just beautiful. And still, even if we broke, this 53 level of support that's more recent, we still have this 51 level of support that we seem to be holding pretty strong. And that's what I love to see, holding that level of support solid, right? That level of support is huge, is very, very nice. And if we were to somehow break that, we would still have a level of support around 42. But I do like holding that 51 level of support. Hey, what's up, Diane? Welcome. Hey, what's up, Hamza? Steven? Connie, what's up? Woohoo! I think we had a great day. Absolutely. Fort Lauderdale getting closer. Love it. Johnny, never has Mondays, had such a great feeling. like they ever do since I have diamond hands. AMC and GME. No way. David says, even with the GI Bill, I ended with 30K in debt I'm still working on. Wow. Yeah, you know, my brother, he's in the military, and he started doing school and everything. And I guess there are two different ways you can use your GI Bill. You can use it for just pure classes, and then you pay for your own housing and everything, or you can use it to help with paying classes, and I think help with a little bit of housing. It was something interesting like that. I don't fully remember it exactly, but it's just so crazy. It's so interesting. I mean, you would think, I don't know. Well, I guess that's the way it goes. I'm baffled, but you know, yeah. Funny story. My brother's name is David as well. But let's see. Diamond with the super chat. Diamond backhand says, "Hey Corey, guess what tomorrow is? Tuesday." Yeah, tomorrow is good old Tuesday. And what's so funny, I'm not joking, man. I'm at work and stuff, and I'm like, Monday, dang, Monday's looking good. I said, I wonder how Tuesday's gonna look. Tuesday hopefully will look freaking fire. I can't wait to see what Tuesday looks like. And you know, always optimistic for each day. And we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Let's take a look at GameStop, right? GameStop was up 1.79%, ending the regular market hours at $213.25. And in the aftermarket now, up a little bit. It's at $214 and 1 penny, up currently 0.36%. Not bad at all. If we zoom in here a little bit, we can see it started off really strong, right? I was like, dang, this is going to be a good day for GameStop. It was up at I'm sorry. It was about $224.37 and rejected there pretty hard, bounced back to around 220 and then rejected again down to 213. So, you know, it's still not a bad day. I'll take a sideways day. It was up slightly. So again, really not that bad. And, you know, we'll zoom out here a little bit. GameStop kind of it's the weirdest chart. It's just like it's a mess, honestly. We see levels, you know, let's go back a little bit. You know, we can see at the middle of last month, we were around, you know, 167, we'll call it, sure, 165. And then we finally came up. When was this? This was on the 25th of last month, so 1 month ago. Came all the way up from 184 to, you know, 245, and then kept running, right? Kept running all the way to 344 on the 8th of this month, and then kind of, you know, coming back down. But realistically, we can see these different levels of resistance and support, right? Currently, a rough level of support, you would say at, I don't know if I would consider it a level of support. It's kind of wishy-washy, but $214 is where we're kind of respecting this level of support a little more microscopically. But I would say probably around here, you know, $200 being the next level, because it looks like it keeps breaking through, and then it even used it as a level of resistance for a few candles here, and then just broke right through it again, right back into that level of support. So I guess, you know, in the short term, looking to make sure that, you know, we'll call it 214 continues to be a level of support. And if it does drop, it's probably going to be looking for another drop. We'll call it 200, 197, around there. But I'm just going to continue to watch. One thing that I am looking for, and actually I do want to set myself an alert, because I would love, how do I set an alert? Create an alert. We'll just do it at 20 cents for Doge. Well, I don't have any dang money, but well, I'll just put it here just in case, because as soon as this price goes below this 20-cent mark, man, I wish I would have taken a position. And it went all the way down to 16 cents, which is crazy. And I really don't have any capital to take a position in, but maybe in the future, this will hit something nice, and I'll be able to finally take a position in Doge. I really would like to take a position in Doge. For the money-making opportunity of it, you know, there's just a lot of momentum and a lot of stuff different things behind Doge. But realistically, it's one of those things where, if I get in around 20 or entry that I'm happy with, great. If not, no problem. There are plenty of other plays that I'm more than happy to make, right? Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is another thing that's pretty interesting. They're kind of all over the place. I think they had a news catalyst today where who was gonna buy? I think Argentina. I think they were gonna purchase $135 million worth of Bitcoin. Is it? Who's buying Bitcoin? Argentina. Somebody's gonna buy a bunch of Bitcoin. I can't find it. All right, that's all right. Somebody is out to buy like $135 million worth of Bitcoin, and I think they're using it as their currency currently in their country, their primary form of currency. It's crazy. There's some big things happening with Bitcoin, but we'll have to see what happens. I do want to take a look at so there's a few stocks that we were looking at previously. For example, ATOS was one of them. We can see ATOS kind of in a rough day. ATOS at $8.25, down 4.29% during the regular market hours. Currently down just a tad, about a percentage. But this one, just kind of keeping an eye on it. Just curious. Wish, how did Wish do? Wish was up 2.56% on the day at 1440. I do want to take a look at the tops of the days and see who did really well during the regular market hours. Man, this stock is still running in the after hours. Marin Software is up 96.85% on the day. Anything else that we recognize on here? I don't think so. I do want to take a look at this chart really quick. Holy smokes, what is happening? MRIN, this stock is going insane. What? So this stock a few days ago, 5 days ago, was at $1.76. And it's currently at $11.73. Holy smokes. Can't play options on here. You can only buy in. And these guys had another 100% day to go to 750, and currently they're running in the after hours. Look, they're up 50% in the after hours alone. This is just insane. This stock is going nuts. What? Let's look at the 1 day. I mean, my gosh. Let's look at the 5 day. That'll look a little bit. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, this all happened within the past 5 days. Wow. I don't like to chase, but this is very, very interesting. Actually, while we're in here, we'll take a look at AMC, but I'm just very curious to know what is going on with this stock. I have no clue. I do want to take a look at their short interest, see if they have anything curious going on. Short interest change. Oh, their short interest is super high. Very interesting. And then their short interest change plus 333.58% on the day. What in the world is happening with this? This is just nuts. Very, 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 very interesting. I really don't like to chase. I mean, here's the deal. There might be an opportunity here, but number one, I don't have the capital. Number two, I don't like to chase. This is looking wild. But as you know, I'm probably not going to touch. Well, I'm not going to touch it, just to be a little more definitive. But wow. Let me clear some of this off. Okay, I have AMC right here. All right, let's go ahead and go back to Ortex. Let's take a look at AMC and see how they're doing on the day. Actually, let me catch up on the chat, and I'll leave this up for a second because this is crazy. Hey, Rania, hello, welcome. I'm looking at Marin, review Marin. I don't know what the heck Marin is. Maybe we'll take a look at Marin in a second. Let's get through our AMC stuff and then we'll go back to Marin because this is interesting. Very, very interesting. Angel, what is up? Short the hedgies, financial advice. Oh my goodness. All right, let's take a good old look. Hey, what's up, Luke? All right, let's take a look at AMC. So oh man, we used to have Myron on here. Gosh, this one is going wild and crazy. AMC. All right, so it looks like AMC is looking freaking insane. The short interest is currently 19%. This is skyrocketing. And again, we can look at the short interest here, right? Let's clear off some of these. Short interest of free float. Whoops. We'll look at these. And then we'll look at... There's one other thing I like to look at. Oh, utilization? Yeah. You know, I'm going to remove utilization for a second. But... man, this utilization is going, or not utilization, this short interest of the free float, right, is going off. This thing is getting super high, like 19%. Over here we can see the previously in April 26 was 19.5%. Even, and just to give you an indication of like the price action that we can see back here, whenever we had this crazy, this was the 100% day, it was only like 16-17%, right? This I personally truly feel like this, and this is why I don't switch stocks, right? This is why I don't switch over, because I feel like any day now they're going to have to remember, as we can see it right here. They're still borrowing stock. They're still shorting the stock, heavily shorting the stock. Corey, why are they heavily shorting the stock? So many different reasons, but I think one of the primary reasons that they're doing this is because as soon as they let off, right, as soon as they stop holding down the stock, it's going to explode, right? And I think this stock is getting ready for another wild move, right? And we can see it, right? It's building up. It's just, this is a huge buildup right here. If this thing is getting ready to blow, and very soon it's going to explode, right? It's not going to be able to contain anymore. It's going to break out. Whenever it's going to break out, it's going to freaking go nuts. William, everyone is talking about this. Okay, I guess. Okay, so William said, did Webull delay anyone's deposit? Would have bought shares this morning. William, you know, I think you're the third person that I've seen in chat so far to talk about this. Excuse me. And that is very interesting. You know, as you all know, like I moved all of my stuff to Fidelity. I do have like a good amount of money in Webull, but realistically, the Webull money is not my bread and butter, right? That is just some money that I have in the stock, and I'm cool, and I'm letting it sit there, no problem. But yikes, that is a little scary, right? And we do know Webull, I don't know if it has anything to do with Apex, their clearinghouse, or what, but you know, Webull did have issues at the same time Robinhood had issues, and I just, yikes. Okay, so I guess one of the mods in here changed their name. Corey's White Water Rapids in his room. Oh my gosh. I don't know what's happening here. I don't know who went rogue, but this is too funny. Oh my goodness. Webull is acting funny lately. Yikes. Webull had a system malfunction. See, I don't want all that system malfunction. This is why I moved the big money. I moved the big money to, personally, I moved it to Fidelity because they're established. Their system, here's the deal. Is their system old and not pretty? Yes. You know, but I don't really hear of many people having trading issues and stuff, like deposit issues, stuff like this with their platform. But maybe I just haven't heard of them. Maybe I'm sure they're probably there. There's some kind of issues, but yikes. Yikes. We are going to be watching Myron for a little bit as this continues to unfold before our very eyes. Let me see which one I want to clear out. I'll clear root out of here for a little bit, and we'll add MRIN, and we'll continue to watch it. So a bit of a retracement. So my goodness, you know, and this is why I don't chase, because I would have bought it right here before it ran up any higher, and I would have been down 10, you know, or 10% or whatever, right? From 50 to 38%. Yikes. Or I would have been down, whatever the percentage is. Chris, no ghosts so far, knock on wood. Thank you. But okay, so let's go ahead and take a look. So again, so just to double down on this, right? This short interest has skyrocketed. To give you some perspective, 20 days ago, it was 11.3%, which was the low of how it recently was given the recent price action, right? So it hasn't been that low since the price was, since when the price was $10, below $10, right? $10 or less. And now, you know, now we're back up to seeing these almost record highs, right? I mean, to give you some perspective, even in January, January 27th, when we were having this crazy moves, it was at 12%, 12.45%. This one right here is just popping off. I mean, it's crazy. We're going to talk about the rules in just a second, William, because we're going to take a look at the DTCC filings. And I do want to address that because very interesting. Now, Robert says, Corey, are you ready for some boom boom candles? Let me tell you, whenever Trey tweets that's the only time I look at the stock. I really try not to look at it all day, stare at it, because it just, you know, for my mental health. But it's whenever he says that, I get too hyped up. So this thing, so to double down on this stock, I believe is getting ready for another breakout. And you know what? We are perfectly set up for a breakout because of where we're trading at. Remember, on AMC, if we zoom out a little bit here, let's look at the 1 month. We can see here we're looking to break out of 60. Once we break out of 60, we'll probably have a little resistance over here around $63. And once we break through 63, you know, maybe all the way at 65, once we break through, we'll call it $65 just to be safe. $65, we're going to be looking at, you know, 68, 70, and to skyrocket. But realistically, I think I would say 65 is really what we're looking at. And if we can break through and hold through, we're going to see another run probably to the next part, right? And this is where we get in the position of a potential gamma squeeze, right? If we get into the position where these stocks have a breakout, let's say they go from, 58, and let's say they go all the way to 70, 80, or wherever they might go. This is where these options have the opportunity to expire in the money. And whenever these options expire in the money, this is when we have the potential for a gamma squeeze the following week, right? And if we were to get that, that would be huge. I mean, you can see here 16,000 contracts right here at $60. That probably, I'm not sure if these have been hedged for, probably haven't been hedged for. So that would be huge. Another huge mark here at $70, 65. There's about 5,000, we'll call it by the end of the week, there'll probably be 6,000 or 6,000 plus contracts. Over here at 70, they're currently 11,000 contracts, and it continues to go, right? And if we were to make it all the way to, 100, there's 16,000 contracts, and 145, there's currently 29,000 contracts right here. But if we hit 145, we're probably in a whole new world anyways, just going crazy. So, definitely things to look forward to this week. As far as the options go, but I'm telling you, this is looking great. If I had any extra money that I was holding on to that I wasn't sure when I was going to add it, I would have added it today. I would have added it, I guess, on Thursday or Friday, whenever the short interest was skyrocketing, and because I didn't want to miss it. So yeah, crazy. Okay, let's take a look at the Ortex tweet. So it doesn't look like they were very chatty today. The only thing was earlier at 9 hours ago, about AMC. AMC is up 6% after 15 minutes of trading. Intraday data shows, okay, so estimated short interest is 18.94%. As you can see, currently it is a little bit higher at 19%. Just solid. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next thing. So we were talking about the rules. So William right here says no one is enforcing the rules. So William, there's a lot of things going on with this, right? And I see here you said the squeeze won't happen unless regulators start enforcing the rules. Right. So I'd agree, right? We do need the I kind of agree. So I think we do need, if we want to see the MOAS, right, the mother of all short squeezes, I do believe that is going to come from some kind of margin calls, right? Now, just because not that we haven't seen anything yet doesn't mean they're not going to enforce the rules, and it doesn't mean that they won't enforce the rules, right? I think there are more catalysts that, well, not catalysts, there are more things involved than just meets the eye. So for example, a margin call is not as simple as, like, these guys, we don't like them, or we don't think they'll be able to pay, or whatever it is. It's, there's checks and balances. It's a system of hey, you guys are in a bad position. Can you add to your position, right? Can you say, for example, I traded margin in Robinhood, and whenever my position got bad, they said, hey, do you have any funds that you can deposit? Otherwise, we're going to margin call you. We're going to liquidate your position. And so I said, oh, as a matter of fact, sure, I'll add some money to the position so I can keep it. And then I got margin called again because the stock went the wrong way again. And I got margin call again. I had to add a few more bucks. I really can't recall what I did with that position, but I'll never forget getting that margin call because I was basically all in, and then I needed to find, like, it was only $500 for me, and then I think it was 200 and 500, something like that. Which I don't know if that sounds big or small to you, but at the time it was pretty rough to get that, considering I had already gone like all in, and I didn't have any extra funds to do that, so I had to like figure it out. But so you have to keep that in mind, right? And you have to keep in mind these hedge funds have a lot of freaking money, and they have positions that they can just liquidate another position or a few shares in another position. And by few shares, I mean a few thousand shares or whatever they're going to liquidate. Then they can just put it in the stock, and boom, now they're not at a risk of a margin call, and they can just hold it, right? So you have to keep in mind there's more that goes into this. And on top of that, we don't know if the DTCC, if these entities can kind of see their dark pool trades, if they're hiding it in the deep in the money calls, or however else they can hide their money. Remember, so we don't know all the tricks that they're able to do and what they're able to make happen. Okay. So you have to keep that in mind. Maybe they're not at risk because they're hiding it, right? So there's a lot of different things that have been going on. There's so many different, unfortunately, it's been taking so long, right? Like, these things probably should have been solved years ago, right? Like years ago, because they've been happening. I'm not sure if the SEC or DTCC or whoever, if they didn't care because they were getting paid off of the fines, or if who knows what it could be. We could speculate all day if they were complicit, unaware, they didn't care, whatever it could have been. But now, finally, it seems like we're shining the light on them, and they're deciding, okay, well, you know what? Now is probably a good time for us to get this taken care of. And now they're doing all these filings like nonstop. They're just like, they're closing loopholes, and they're doing everything. We all know what they've been doing, and it's just wild. And these are newer filings here that I'm going to take a look at in just a second. But I think that something is coming, and we also have to keep in mind that, let's say there is an investigation, right? I had a person actually comment today on my everything short video, and they said 3 months later, nothing's happened. ... And I was like, look, like, first of all, what do you mean nothing's happened? Like, all these filings are being filed, this and that, this and that. Oh, and on top of that, we're also up from $10. We're currently at over $50. So I'm not sure what you mean nothing has happened. It's still a lot of good things have happened since, but it's a process. It takes time, especially if you want meaningful change that's not rushed out. I'd rather them not rush these things out, and then there's another loophole, and then they have to do it again and again, and it's pointless, right? I'd rather them figure out the problem, solve it properly, and have it be solved for the entire duration of like the market or whatever. You know what I mean? Like we're looking for actual change on these stocks to make the market fair. It's not a fair market. We've learned all of these things that people can do. And by these people, I mean hedge funds and institutions, all of these like dark pools that they have access to that retail traders don't have access to. How they have their high frequency trading, like algorithms, and their systems are faster than retail traders, so they get a buy in. If they see the stock is going to run because a bunch of people just bought, they can buy in before, make a few, with $1 billion or whatever they buy in with, and make a few pennies per share, which equates to well, now they just made another who knows how much. It just goes on and on and on. So, we're looking for a fair market, fair trades, fair everything. And I think it's just going to take time. And for all we know, and I think it's a very, very, very real possibility probably happening, that the SEC and these other people are going into, or I think it's a very real possibility that there's an investigation going on already. I'm sure there probably is already an investigation going on, but remember, they're not going to let us know, right? We're not allowed, us meaning retail investors, the public is not allowed to know. If there's an ongoing investigation, you're not allowed to talk about it, right? It's like you're not allowed to talk about it. So, excuse me, they could have a stack of evidence this tall of papers that they need to go through. And they need to go through everything. They need to make sure they have a concrete case. They need to make sure that no one's going to walk free. All this stuff. If you ever watch one of these FBI movies, then then you know how it kind of goes, right? Or even a documentary. Like look at the McDonald's documentary, the McDonald's documentary of the monopoly. These guys, they watch them for years. They watch them for years. I believe it was that documentary. I don't know. But yeah, they watched them for like years essentially. And, and even the DEA, they have to find the right people. They let go of the little fish and then they find the right people. And then they finally, whenever they have all the proper evidence, the person that they're trying to get, the ringleader or whoever, is for sure going to go down. Then they move, right? And it'll take years. So, hopefully this doesn't take years, but it's a very real possibility that it might take a little bit of time. But I continue to hold strong. I look at the DD. I look at these numbers that keep getting bullish, right? Look at this again. We're getting ready for another run. And notice how as this goes up, as the yellow bar goes up, I'll move my mouse out of the way. As the yellow bar goes up, we can see the red and green are the actual normal trading candles here. Then those go up, right? They go in the opposite direction of each other because it's representative of the short interest versus the share price. And even back here, you can see this is continuing to climb. And as it climbs, it wasn't enough to have an impact. And eventually it got to the point where it could have an impact. And whenever it got to the point where it could have an impact, at that point, the stock ran, right? The stock ran, the short interest declined. And then what happened again? The stock ran again, the short interest declined. So every time the short interest gets high enough, the stock runs. We can just see it right here. And the short interest is getting very high again. Very, very, very high again. I mean, and maybe it'll take a month for it to move again, for the stock to run again, or maybe it'll be this week. Either way, for me, I'm willing to hold the entire time and wait for it. I'm telling you, I have my I think I have my golden ticket. I'm going to hold it. I'm not going to let it go. Lucas, fair enough. And so I do want to read this. So Lucas says, haha, you just asked the government to solve a problem, make a change. And here's the deal. I'm with you. But at the same time, you have to keep in mind that these guys, remember, if this goes bad, if let's just use Citadel, for example. If Citadel is in a terrible position, they're going to go bankrupt, and it's going to cause a catastrophic meltdown of the economy or whatever's going to happen. The DTCC does not want to be stuck holding the bag, right? If these guys go bankrupt very, very early because they spend all their money trying to keep the stock down, and who knows if they're paying themselves bonuses on the side or what, but if they spend all their money trying to keep the stock down, and then finally they're like, you know what, we're out of money, the stock is going to run, they go bankrupt whenever the stock hits $100 and it's just getting started, then guess who has to fit the bill? Freaking DTCC. At the very least, these government entities or these entities are going to try and save themselves. And it's the same. It's the classic better you than me scenario, right? Citadel is saying, better you than me having to fit the bill. I guess we'll go under, but whatever. And the DTCC is really saying better you than me by saying, you know what, we're going to implement these rules. Some of them are going to stick, right, and force you to cover. And whenever that happens, they want to make sure, the DTCC wants to make sure they're not fitting the bill, and the Federal Reserve definitely wants to make sure they're not fitting the bill if the DTCC cannot pay. So there's a whole bunch of interesting things going on. But again, I think each of these filings is just it's another pebble being added to the, I don't know what, another pebble being added, right? Another pebble being added. And you have enough pebbles together, and now you have a boulder. Just accept it. Just accept the analogy. You have enough pebbles, and then you have a boulder. And these guys are getting ready to push that boulder down the hill. And I don't know if that makes any sense. It's a terrible analogy, not one of my best ones. But hopefully you see where I'm going with this. Something interesting that I did want to take a look at is I do notice, you start to notice trends on here. And if you notice here, there are the three different entities. And I don't know the exact differences between them, but we do have the DTC, FICC, and the NSCC. Keep in mind that whenever you're talking about a filing, there are different numbers. So for example, there's NSCC's 801 and FICC 801, and there's like a bunch of different things, right? So keep that in mind. But we can see here, this is DTC 11, DTC 004, and DTC 007, or NSCC 007, sorry. So they're all different numbers, but they're all the same kind of subject and amendment. So I'm pretty sure they're all similar. So they all say, all three of these right next to each other say, relating to confidential information, market disruption, and other changes, right? That's what they all say. So it's just very, very interesting how they all say this. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at this because I thought there was something very interesting. So the purpose, so it has a whole thing in here with the purpose, but I did want to talk about part 3 of their purpose. So part 1 is confidentiality requirements. Part 2 is, participant. So the first one is NSCC confidentiality. The second one is participant confidentiality. And the third one is market disruption events. Okay. So market disruption events, let's read this part right here. So Rule 60, market disruption enforced, I don't know how to say that, majore. Sure. The force majeure rule contains provisions that identify the events or circumstances that would be considered a market disruption event, including, listen to these. For example, events that lead to the suspension or limitation of trading or banking in the markets in which the NSCC operates, or the unavailability or failure of any material payment, bank transfer, wire, or security settlement systems. So let's do this slowly, right? Let's break this down, smooth brain, and we'll walk through it, right? So we'll go here. Or any circumstances that would be considered a market disruption event. So here's an example of a market disruption event. Events that lead to the suspension or limitation of trading. Okay. Who did that? Good old Robinhood, maybe. Webull for a little bit. A few other brokerages. A lot of other brokerages. A lot of different companies or brokerages. They did this, right? This is Kira. Sometimes I read the chat. Sometimes I don't read the chat. I was on a roll, and then I had my Corey sense tingling, and now I see you. So Kira says, "Are you saying we're effed?" Not at all. Not at all. Right? I don't think so at all. I think that I think that while our goals are not aligned with these entities, I think that we will mutually benefit from these guys, right? So for example, again, my biggest thing is they don't want to be stuck holding the bag. So them not wanting to be stuck holding the bag makes me feel like they want, like, so they'd rather, them not wanting to be stuck with the bag will force them to make, like, for example, Citadel, these institutions pay, right? And if they're paying, then we're getting paid, right? Because either way, I feel like the apes are going to get paid, right? Whether it's the institutions paying, the DTCC, or the Federal Reserve. Either way, I think someone is going to be paying. So, the enemy of my enemy, essentially, is kind of the situation. We don't have to be friends with these guys, but it's very interesting, especially this one right here. Market disruption events, other changes, confidential. It's all very interesting. All of their filings seem to be directly talking about what is going on with the short squeeze, right? It's so interesting. And yeah, so William, the squeeze will be managed. And a lot of these filings are literally that. It talks about how money will be managed, how shares will be managed, how everything will be managed in the event where someone can't pay, where someone is kicked out of like their entities, the membership, because you do have to have like a membership to be part of the DTC or something like that, I believe. And it's like institutions, right? So I think that it's odd how aligned these filings are with what is going on. It's odd, but yeah. So right here. So back to this one. So again, for example, events that lead to the suspension or limitation of trading or banking in the markets in which NSCC. So trading, right? What these people did, just very interesting. Now, continuing, so, or the unavailability or failure of any material payment, bank transfer, or wire securities settlement systems. Now, I interpret this two different ways. Okay, so the first way I interpret this is, I'll read it one more time, or the unavailability or failure of any material payment, bank transfer. Okay, so I think like failure of any material payment seems like if they didn't want the, for example, if Robinhood, they said, you know what? Yeah, okay, okay, sure, you made money, but you know what? We're not going to transfer that money to you because we lost out on a lot of money. We just lost our biggest client. Who knows what they would say, but or what the real reason versus the fake reason. So many different things that could happen, but it seems like they said, you know what, you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that. But what this could also mean is maybe this has something to do with the way it clears, right? With, for example, you know how Robinhood, they said they were having a liquidity issue where they weren't able to put up the capital for the trades. It was something interesting like that. I wonder if this is what that pertains to. I'm not quite sure. Which one that means though, so just so you know. But let's continue here on this part, right? So let's see. Okay, so if there was a market disruption event, the NSCC would be entitled to, number one, suspend the provision of any or all services, take or refrain from taking or require members and limited members to take or refrain. Okay. They can basically do whatever they want. They can take your stuff. They can leave your stuff. They can not let you trade your stuff. They can do whatever the heck they want to you, right? And that's what this stuff is talking about. They can do this. And you know what else we saw? They also said, hey, if we were going to disband you, right? If we were going to take you and say, hey, let's say I'm an entity, right? I'm a brokerage institution, whatever. And I was in a bad position, or I quit, or whatever happened. They have rules of like, okay, great. So Corey's out, another institution come in. He has all these shares already purchased and stuff, but he's been messing up or whatever. How do you want to buy these? Like, we're going to auction. They have it. They'll auction off my positions, my shares and everything to the next bidder, to the highest bidder or whatever. It's just very interesting how it's all saying, you know what, and a lot of these rules are saying, hey, if someone messes up, if someone's in a bad position, if someone doesn't follow the rules, it can mess up. Like, here's what's going to happen. Here's the way it's going to go down. And this is the way it's going to go, right? Here's who's going to pay. It's very, 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 very interesting what's going on. Very interesting. So, these filings, and this goes on, and that was only to put it, just so you guys know, like, this is 56 pages. It looks like this is a small section of one page, basically broke down. This is part 3 of, I think, 4, 5. Part 3 of 5 of what's going on. There's proposed rule changes. Let's see. Systems disconnect. Ooh, interesting. Threat. Okay, this is interesting. Threat of significant impact to NSCC's systems. Let's see. The proposed rule change would add a new rule. All right. Let's see. Oh, okay. Here we go. I'm trying to see which part I want to read. Let's see. The proposed systems disconnect rule would be structured similarly to the force majority rule. The systems disconnect rule would address the NSCC's authority to take certain actions upon the occurrence and during the pendency of a major event. A major event would be defined as the happening of one or more systems disruptions that is reasonably likely to have a significant impact on the NSCC's operations, including the DTCC systems that affect business operations, safeguarding of securities or funds, or physical functions. Let me see if there's anything interesting in here. Okay, here we go. Systems disruption would be defined as the unavailability, failure, malfunction, overload, or restriction, whether partial or total, of a DTCC's systems participant system. That disrupts or degrades the normal operation. Holy smokes. This kind of goes on and on and on. But I mean, we can see this stuff. Like, as you guys just hearing that, right? Here's the deal. A lot of these reading these things is pretty interesting, because you understand the big words, right? There's a lot of words in here. I understand these words individually, but then you got to put them together and understand them as a sentence, and it is a pain in the neck. But as you can see here, how it's kind of structuring, right? If something were to go wrong, if something were to get messed up, then you can see it, right? If something, these guys are going to mess other people up. They're going to stop them from trading. They're going to, or I don't know about stop them from trading, but well, they can do whatever they want. So just to kind of give you guys an idea of what is continuing to going on. And that's that. Let's take a look at AMC again really quick. I want to see how it's doing in the after hours. And AMC is at 57.80 currently, so down 0.53% in the after hours. I do want to take a look at good old Marin. Marin, still, it's interesting because Man, in the after hours, they're still up 27% at $9.57, but they have come down. Remember, they were at $11.73 just now in these after hours, and they're dropping pretty hard. They were up 50% in the after hours. They're currently up 27% in the after hours. So from 50% to 27%. So we'll see. We shall see. Let me get caught up in some of this chat. No one knows. No one knows. The virus aft. Let me take a sip of water and catch up. Start over with your own words. Yeah, some of these words, I'm telling you, man, these words are difficult, but no worries. All right, let's go ahead and continue with AMC. So very interesting, guys. These things are very interesting read. I do need to make a video talking about these because this is actually extremely interesting, and usually what I do is I'll break them down, but let me see. I am a little curious about the confidentiality one. I'm not sure which one I'd rather read. Let me see here. This is interesting. So let's see this part here. NSCC believes that it is unnecessarily burdensome to determine the rules and regulations of each of the regulatory bodies that regulates its participants. Such bodies include numerous U.S. federal and state regulators, as well as foreign, national, state, local regulators. NSCC proposes revising the language, and okay, so it seems like language stuff. Let's see. Yeah, I guess it's nothing too crazy. Okay, so historically, NSCC has generally not provided nor been requested to provide information that contains confidential or proprietary information of NSCC or its affiliates to its participants, except for information necessary for participants and their service providers and service bureaus to connect to NSCC and participate. Okay, anything interesting? Offers. All right, we'll leave that there. There's a lot of wrinkles being made. Good stuff. What's up, Angelina? All right, so let's take a look here. I figure we'll take a look at these AMC subreddit comments, and we'll read through a few of these or a few posts, and then we'll see what you guys have. So Table, actually, I haven't talked about that yet. So for those of you who don't know, Table says, have you talked about AMC making the NSYE threshold list? So I think that I saw that it is the most traded stock. So let me see what it says about AMC right here. Where's the news? Top stories. I'm not seeing it here. I don't know. Well, we'll have to see. So let's take a look at here at this. If Adam Aaron wants his dilution, so we talk about this before. We talk about all the time. It's about the vote. As we know, I think we know how a lot of people are voting. I think most people are probably going to vote no. Currently, as much as I would love to give him those shares, I currently can't just do it in the state with the state of everything. But this person right here, I thought it was pretty interesting, and I would definitely consider, depending on how this went down, how it ended. Again, we don't, well, I'll get through my thought in a second. So this person says at CEO Adam Aaron, retail would be happy to approve 25 million new shares in July if you recall all shares prior to dilution, so that we can ensure our company is free of manipulation and fraud prior to issuance. Recall the shares, clean up the count, issue more. Okay, and so the theory behind this is if we were to recall all the shares, theoretically, what I've heard is supposed to happen is at that point we would see if there are truly synthetic shares, if there are, and I believe the shorts would have to cover. There's a few different things that goes into this, but if that's the case, then it could be pretty crazy, right? It's actually a very interesting concept that's being presented. Adam Aaron, I don't know if Adam Aaron would actually do it, but if he were to do it, then I think it could be, I'd be curious to know if he would still get those shares, right? Because if it's running, when does the vote end? Can anyone remember when the vote when voting ends for these shares and stuff? But this is pretty interesting. I just saw that and I thought, Let's put this over here. Drop one of these. All right. So yeah. Okay, can we do that? Richard, I'm not sure if this is actually something we can do, but it's something that Adam Aaron would have to do. But as the shareholders, as we are the shareholders, right, he has to decide, what he wants to do. Is he going to allow... okay, let's see. Dandy says, when I looked up information on share recall, it says the CEO of a company itself cannot share recall. Oh, very interesting. Very interesting. So Dandy, so how does that happen then? A share recall? Who has to recall it? And so this is interesting too. Obviously, I guess I'm not popular enough for all the shield bots, but that's all right. So over here it says, this is from Trey. This morning's live stream, the bots were out in full force. This is done. Quit lying to these people. Move on already. Remember, they said this at $5. They said it at $10, 20, 30, 40, 50. They keep saying it. They keep saying it in July 26, 27. All right. Thank you, Stoli. So plenty of time for Adam Aaron to get those shares, right? Plenty of time. Now, what I will say is, look at this. It's true. I completely believe it, right? Every single person, think about the people even in your life. They said, no, this is not going to, AMC's not going to $20. AMC's not going to $15, right? Everything that they said. And it kept on running. It didn't stop. It hasn't stopped, right? Sure. Is it consolidating? Sure. I think it's consolidating, but guess what? They haven't covered. They have not covered. In fact, they're continuing to borrow more. We can see it with the short interest right here, right? Going back up. And keep in mind this graph. I wish I could zoom in a little bit. Can I look at the 3-month, 6-month? Where's January? Okay, here's January. So you can see how it's been looking, right? So this is back in January, the beginning of the graph over here. And you can see, I can do year to date then. There we go. We'll do year to date. Sure. And we can see here that this is back in January, and it's almost at record high again. 19.64% seems to be the high, the record high of the short interest. And the short interest again is at 19%. The record high being 19.64%, right? I think it's very, 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 very likely that this is gonna continue to go up. And again, the higher it goes, I think we'll see another run. I think we'll see another run. Lurking says share recalls are something that lenders can initiate for loaned out shares only. Very, very, very interesting. Okay. William says Adam Aaron can sue over the naked shorts. Hedge funds, brokers, and market makers won't or don't want to face discovery. Okay, interesting. Okay. Very interesting. Used to be bars and nightclub. Interesting. Okay, well that's good to know. See, this is why I love having the freaking apes in the chat, because I don't know everything. I'm not going to pretend to know anything, but you know, it's community. It's a pretty cool educational community. I love it. Let's go ahead and continue over here. So yeah, these guys, it's just fun to look at, right? It's interesting to look at how, you know, they don't know. It goes to show you that no one knows. No one knows what's going to happen. But, you know, especially the people who haven't been looking at it, right? People don't know what's going on. People don't know why it's going up. People don't know why. Well, I don't think anyone knows why they're continuing to short the stock. We have theories and everything, but I get asked all the time, Corey, why would they continue to short? There's no way it's going to continue to run. It's like, look, man, I can't tell you, and this is an actual conversation I had. I can't tell you why the heck they're continuing to short it. All I know is they are continuing to short it, and the numbers are getting high again to the point where last time it got this high, it burst, and we went from $30 to $70, right? I'm not here to tell you. I don't have to make heads or tails of it. All I have to do is know that I'm going to personally buy and hold and wait for a move and be happy. That's all I know. I just love the the faces. I love this guy's freaking face. Sir, they won't sell. They said the new floor is jail. It's just I just laugh so hard whenever I see these. It's too funny. This is too funny. Always need a good laugh. And so this is a good point, right? This is something that I've been thinking about. I had a person in my on the channel in a comment the other day say there's no way the stock is going to go above $1,000. It can't even go to $100. And again, it goes to show you of the people who do not have any knowledge, right? What is he basing this off of, right? What is he basing it off of? He's not basing it off of anything. He just or I don't know if it's he or she, I don't think, but they just came in here to shill, right? They went into the chat or my comments on my YouTube section. They went in, they're shilling, and you know, it's not even like, what is that based off of, right? What numbers are you basing that off of? Because if you look at these numbers, last time it was this high, we had about 100% day, right? We had 100% that it went up. Well, granted, it went up a little bit, and then the next week it went up 100%, probably from some kind of gamma squeeze. But even then, it was probably a combination of covering as well as gamma. And beautiful move, right? Crazy move. And it just goes to show you that people don't know. But I do think that if this passes $100, right, people are gonna jump in every single time it runs. People FOMO in, people jump in, right? And eventually, I think it's just gonna take the right jump, right? for this to get margin called. And at the end of the day, I think that's what's going to cause the MOAS, right? The mother of all short squeezes. I think it's going to be caused from a margin call, right? Price action can only get us so high. I think the price action is obviously fantastic. I'm actually extremely happy with the price action. I'm curious to know how high we can go just off of bullish price action, which is what we're seeing. And I think after a margin call comes and these guys are forced to cover, that's whenever the price, it's not about FOMO and price, it's about them just covering, right? On top of that, though, there are still going to be these people FOMOing in. They're going to keep jumping in, which is going to add more fuel to the fire. William, this is something that you're right. Like William says, some shills are just GME owners, and they're hating on AMC or whatever. I mean, you're gonna say all that, but yes, like as much as I hate to admit it, and I've seen it the other way too. I've seen AMC hating on GameStop, and it's just ape don't fight ape. I'll just leave that there because I don't want to talk about that too much because we all know how it goes. But yes, so Peter says a lot of paper hands at $100, and it's just unbelievable to me, right? This goes back to my example of like, just if someone had a blank check and they said, hey, what do you want to write on here? People would give a lowball answer. If I went to you and I said, hey, I have a blank check, how much do you want me to write for you? They would just, I don't know, $1,000. And it's like, I would have wrote a check for $1 billion, right? If it's a blank check and you don't know what I'm going to write, people just don't know what to say, and they just say the lower number just to be safe, and they get out. Can you imagine if I couldn't imagine selling at $100 when I think it's going to go, when I don't know how high it's going to go, right? I don't know how high it's going to go. For what if it goes to $1 million, right? Why would I just sell at $100 because I'm like, oh, that's all right, that's okay, yeah, I can buy some lunch with this. You think I'm trying to buy a freaking lunch? I'm trying to buy a mansion. I'm trying to buy my freaking mama mansion. But it's just funny how people shill themselves. There's going to be a psychological level of resistance that is probably going to be there for no reason. You think the trading algorithms or whatever, they go, oh yeah, we're just going to go at $100 or whatever. You think that people are going to, you think the system that whenever they do get margin called, when and if they get margin called, you think their system is going to say, oh, okay, no, we're just going to buy it in $5 increments. We're going to buy, no, they're going to buy it by the pennies, right? And if there's no sell orders within dollars, then it just skips those dollars and it goes up to the next sell or buy or whatever, and it just buys that up, right? It's going to go to the asks, and I can do this a lot easier right here. If I go to the asks, it's going to jump up. If magically it goes from 58 and there's no one selling it at all, magically again, all the way from 58 to $63, guess what it's going to do? It's going to jump to $63, and then it's going to jump up. So imagine if there was nothing from here to $70, from here from $63 to $70, it'll just jump up because all it is doing is buying. It doesn't care anything. So you think it's going to magically just say, oh, at $100, yeah, we're not going to buy past $100. We'll wait 2 days. They're not going to have an option. It's going to buy and it's going to jump right through it. And again, the only thing I think is going to slow it down is people with these artificial mental blocks that they've given themselves of $100. Think about how many people have a sell order at $100, right? Just a limit sell order at $100. And can you imagine it's automatically going up, and then in the same day it goes from $100 to $500 or $1,000 in one day, just because it's just automatically buying everything up. And these people just sold at $100 and it jumps to $200 or whatever, and now it's like, well, now I'm out. I don't have a chance. Instead of selling it on the way back down at 100, they just sold it on the way up at 100. Who knows if it gaps up to 500. It's just crazy. And I just wish that I could tell everyone, I wish I could send out a mass email to the apes and say, like, why are you shilling yourself? Like, why are you selling yourself short, right? It's like, I don't know. I don't know. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. All right, let me continue because I get very passionate about these. But FOMO is something I am looking forward to. And some great numbers from good old Adam Aaron, right? Let's click in on this one and we'll take a look. What a great weekend for the big screen. Due to a gangbuster, I've never heard of that term before, opening of Universal Picks. So Fast 9 was 2 million people watched in a movie theater Thursday through Sunday in the US, and 2.5 million people did so at the theaters globally. So these are both record numbers since reopening the theaters. We have to keep in mind that it's not just ape retail investors. There are more traditional, older retail investors who are going to be looking at these kinds of numbers, right? How are their profits looking? What was their oh my gosh, what is the word I'm looking for? Like the estimated profits versus their actual profits, right? Did they meet what it was going to be? And, you know, all of these different metrics that these more traditional retail investors look at to decide if they want to take a position. Is this a strong company? Is this company going under? And while we know it's not going under, is this company going to be successful in the next 2 years, right? Are people actually going to the movies or what? Now, granted, you know, this is a weird number. I really don't know how to put this in perspective of their theaters. You know, how many seats do they have in their theaters? This would have been better as a percentage. You know, all theaters overall over the weekend was at 90% capacity, or, you know, maybe some theaters are still at 50%. Oh, I think they're all at 100%, like capacity, that they don't have to be restricted to like 50% or whatever. But you know, what was this percentage? So this is something I'd be more interested in, or stuff like that. But you know, all theaters were at, you know, 95% capacity. Again, I don't know what those numbers are, but you know, for all I know, the only thing about this is this could be a small amount of capacity or something. But well, he said record numbers since reopening the theaters. So, which is fantastic, right? That's great for the company. They talk about GameStop, right? If you're in GameStop, if you want your freaking, you know, if you want the company to look good on paper for other retail investors, well, someone had said, I read this, it was like a tweet or something. It was from like a famous person, like Mark Cuban or something. And they said, hey, if you want your company to do well, you need to shop at your company. If you want GameStop to do well, you need to buy their products and make sure their numbers look good, not just hold their stock. If you're just holding their stock, then how's that? You know, obviously from a short squeeze perspective, it does help. But, you know, if you want more people to jump in on it, then, you know, you need to use their product. And I thought that was actually very interesting, right? That's something that a lot of people aren't really thinking about. But it's true. Remember, those are reflective, right? And, you know, we always talk about opportunities, right? This is how people find opportunities. I think, what's this guy's name? Warren Buffett, he talks about how he goes into, before tradition, you know, in his more traditional trading back in the day, he said he would go into a restaurant or whatever, and he would hang out, he would look around, and he would say, you know what? People are having a freaking good time here. This place is packed. I think it was Dairy Queen or something specifically that he said, that, I think he was talking about I think it was Dairy Queen or something. Yeah, he said he was in there. He just kind of hung out. It was a great vibe, and everyone was so happy. The employees seemed cool or happy and stuff, and it was great. And people were hyped up about it. He was like, you know what, I'm going to invest in them, and I think he made money. I don't know, but you know, that's how more traditional things go. And if you're looking for plays, those are things you can consider. You know, but Kira says we don't care about fundamentals. We're here for a momentum trade, the short squeeze. Duh, that's why we're in this. This is true, right? And don't mistake what I'm saying for a long play. This is AMC, for me personally, is not a long play. It is a momentum play. It is a swing trade. It is a short squeeze, right? So don't get me wrong. But if we're playing in this, think about how long we've been in this short squeeze situation, right? We've been in it for 2 quarters now. Now, 2 quarters is a lot of time for other retail investors to decide, hey, you know, maybe I do want to be a part of this, because while, you know, maybe they've been thinking about playing the short squeeze, but they're not sure if the company is going to do bad or something. If they see it's doing well, that could bring in more investors, right? So I'm not trying to say it's not about a short-term play, but if you can get some more retail investors, give it a little freaking fire, a little fuel, that could be great. Right, so don't sell yourself short. Also, there's a lot of opportunity there with traditional retail investors if they see it's doing well. Imagine the bullishness of institutions, whales, who want to go long on AMC, but they're like, you know what, let's see how they do this. Let's see how they do this quarter, right? They're finally open at 100% capacity. If they do well this quarter, for that reason, on top of a, you know, I don't know if they care about a short squeeze or anything like that, but if they do care about that, then they can, maybe they'll buy in because of that reason also, right? And I'm not, you know, maybe I'm wrong, but these are things that people have to think about, right? I would love for a huge whale, a bunch of more whales. We have a lot of whales already. I would love for more whales to buy in and diamond hands this thing. So buy, I mean, we went from 12. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we went from 12 to 60 freaking $5 already. I mean, we went even higher. But yes, it's good stuff. It's very good stuff. Went all the way to 77 at one point. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Things to keep in mind. Things to keep in mind. Pictures to get that wrench out. All right, let's go and continue. And I love it whenever people find these interesting trends, right? Very interesting trends. So here are the Mondays, right? Monday closing prices. So on the 3rd, it was $9.71. It goes up not each and every single time, but it continues. Like look at how it's been moving. It's been moving solid direction upward, right? And we'll see. Hopefully there'll be a huge move, a huge push very, 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 very soon. I would love to see a huge push coming very soon, but yeah. I do want to take a look at, what do I want to take a look at? Oh, that's a good Superstonk. See if there's anything else in here. Let's go to the moon. Superstonk, let's see. Oh, wait. Disclosure note on Baird suspending. Okay, Baird receives certain payments on retail option orders routed to Citadel Securities. You couldn't make it up. Baird suspends GameStop stock coverage, citing continued Reddit influence and lack of company plan. Ooh, some weird stuff. I don't know. I don't like it. So repos are going back up. Very interesting. Not at a record yet, but getting very close to the previous record. I just wanted to see if there was anything in here. I don't know what this big event is. Anyone know what this big event is? I'm a small soldier in this war. Oh my gosh, I love it. Fixed it. Criminal. Ooh, yes, we all saw Baird suspended GameStop coverage. However, did you know they have a history with the SEC? With the history with SEC and history with conflict of interest violations. Man, you know who else has conflict of interest violations? Freaking Robinhood, or maybe not violations yet that are confirmed, but these guys have a lot. Robinhood has a lot, too many ties to Citadel to not have conflict of interest. It's messed up. Let's see. All right, I'm not really seeing anything more interesting. I do like this one. Watch it will pay. I may have been early, but I'm not wrong, right? And this is something that really keeps me hyped up, motivated. Whenever we're talking about this stock, right, about AMC and stuff. People saying, "Oh, it's taking a long time. It's making a long time." Look, you know who was early to the party? Roaring Kitty. Look how much Keith Gill lost. I think he lost a lot of money because guess what? He saw the opportunity. Let me show you this. And correct me if I'm wrong, but he saw an opportunity back here. He saw this opportunity when it was all the way up here, and I believe he was waiting for a reversal this entire time, and I think he lost a lot of money on this way down because he thought it was going to reverse eventually based on what he had found. But he was early. He was very early. He lost, I'm sure, tens of thousands of dollars. I believe it was over $50,000 he had lost, but I might be mistaken. Maybe it's like 20 or something. But I'm pretty sure he's lost tens of thousands of dollars on the way down. But whenever he found it, whenever it finally bottomed out and he had his options, this guy made over $50 million, right? He made a lot of money. So he was early, but he was not wrong. And AMC, here's the deal. If you were in, again, any time before this month, before June, then you're sitting very pretty, Now, again, everyone who got in back here, right? If you got in February or whatever, or March, or whenever it was under, oh gosh, I moved that candle. Let's look at the 6 month. So if you got in back here, at $5 or whatever, sure, you were early. And yeah, you had some gains, but you weren't freaking wrong, right? You weren't wrong. And this is the important thing. Even if you bought in over here, if you're a newer ape, welcome. But if you got in here, maybe you're early, but are you wrong? I don't think I'm allowed to tell you, but since we're still kind of waiting on a push, but we'll see. I don't think I'm wrong. And I'm feeling good about what's going on. I'm feeling very good. A Book of Rhyme says it will squeeze more than once. Yeah, so it seems like it kind of the direction, right? It's going to push up, consolidate, push up, consolidate, push up, consolidate. I'd be fine with that. Even if it takes a little bit of time, I know where I stand and I feel good about it. So, but either way, I'll continue to wait, continue to hold as long as it takes, and if you have not seen The Big Short, I can't emphasize it enough. You may want to watch it because it's so good. I highly recommend watching it if you're in this kind of play. It'll make you, it's what you need in your life. Okay. I think that's everything I wanted to talk about today. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. New apes, welcome. But that's it. So again, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I will be on tomorrow. As you guys know, I'm on every single day. We'll see what happens tomorrow on Tuesday. And hopefully it'll be good. Hopefully we'll see some big moves tomorrow. Short interest continuing to go up. And I think it's going to keep going until we have that explosion. I think it's coming soon. I'm looking forward to purchasing those. I'm probably going to get some more call options with the options that expire in the money. So I just keep using those options. I keep YOLOing them. And so far I've been doing pretty good. But we'll see what happens. All right. But anyways, you guys have a fantastic night. Again, thanks for stopping by. Yes to you, Diamond. I say yes to you. All right. Peace.